Signals in the deep, markets never sleep. Whales move silent, but we speak. On-chain truth, no disguise. This is Leviathan, open your eyes.
Hello everyone, what's up? Leviathan News here, starting a new week, and actually with new protocols. Sorry. Let's shoot the camera. Hope it's going to be good because it's... never mind, apologize. Starting a new week at Leviathan News, very excited about it because I've actually been very fortunate to have these two esteemed gentlemen on launch day, nothing less than that. So thank you very much, so much, guys. And of course, if you don't know, I'm sure many of our audience, they already recognize these celebrities, you know what I mean, of the industry. So, but of course, for those of you who don't, DeFi Dave, my very good friend, nice to have you on after quite a while, and the Honorable Benjamin. How are you, sir? Formerly Key DAO. Dave, usually, like at least on my side, in the past associated with Flywheel and Frax, but these days, for those of you who haven't been following what they've been doing in the past few months, it's all about Cap Money, which is launching today, and we're going to dive right into it. So first of all, what's up, guys? All good?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, DeFi Advisor. It's been a while, but it's great to be back.
I know it's not a simple thing to come on launch day, so really appreciate it, guys. I actually think that the audience appreciates this as well, and it's a good moment to tell everyone to share the stream. We'll chill a bit, like the first few minutes. I want to gather some folks around, and if you are a member of the Cap Money community, all about the news, the Squid community, of course, please take a second and like the video, share it, tag whoever needs to see it, and let's get into talking about Cap Money. Benjamin, all good on your side as well, sir? How's launch day been going so far? Great.
Amazing. And where else would we go other than Leviathan, right? So, I think every like DeFi OGs on Leviathan, every founder watches this stuff. So I think this is like the core community. So yeah, I'm sure we'll have some fun questions. Please don't hold back. Anything is up for
appreciate that. Actually, I will try to give a good job. And by the way, if you're watching the stream and you feel that there are things that I should be asking and maybe not necessarily already doing, just add them in the comments, guys. Like the guys said that they want to be asked any relevant questions, and they're all about it. So basically, it's the point. So feel free to add your questions during the stream. And guys, really, much respect for coming and for these kinds. Well, we need someone to clip that, what you said there, Benjamin. We need an editor, like urgently. We need some editors for Leviathan News so people can come and contribute. Yes. I will take a minute to present our sponsors. The winning of the auction. I don't know if you people have seen the auction on Friday. It was the biggest auction ever. Like what we're auctioning so far, like is it's called Squid Pass. It gives whoever wants to sponsor for the week, it gives them the pinned posts on our Telegram and our X account for the whole week with their message, call to action, whatever they want to present there, and also a shout out and like the QR code on the 1 hour streams. And I try to do a minimum of 2 streams for every winner. And the last auction of the Friday auction was the biggest one we've ever had. The winner was, I will reveal the winner in just a second, but I recommend you see it because it was actually an episode with some great energy. But I do owe one more shout out from last week. I didn't get to do 2 streams last week. So I want to give a shout out to our most loyal sponsors probably so far, AIOZ. They've won so many previous auctions, and I definitely want to give them a shout out in their community. So this is their X account, x.com, AIOZ network. They're all about AI and DeepIn, and you can check them out also on their website, which is aioz.network. Much respect, guys. Thank you for sponsoring us for so many weeks, and I definitely hope to see you guys bidding again in the following weeks. I know that this bid was really a different kind of bid. All of a sudden, people were bidding all around, and at first it was AOZ and another address competing, and all of a sudden there came Alice Rosengarten, for those of you who know, and she won it actually for something very special that I'm excited to share about. She won it for someone called Maki NFT. So shout out first of all, Maki NFT. You could check out her X account at MACCI NFT. She's an artist. She made this collection in the past called Mad Doll. I'm showing it now on OpenSea, MADOLL, and she's just launching like a new hand-painted figure. Wait, I need to close this window. Let me go to the top there. She has a new connection, like a new hand-painted work as a tribute to her past collection. And this is something very cool, and I think it demonstrates the fact that we don't have to, like most organizations or media outlets out there, to just do these strict, okay, only if you do this kind of sponsorship and you have to have this size of thumbnail to give us and all that. Like, we're mostly about like community, and if you guys know something cool about the community that you think you want to have the message shared with our audience, you can just do it. So I'm very excited about this kind of like unique stuff. I don't think you'd see this kind of a sponsorship on many places, so I'm actually quite excited about it. Shout out Maki NFT. Impressive artwork, I must say, kind of crazy. And so go check her out on her own website. Let me just pull her website as well. It's sites.google. Apologize. sites.google.com/view/Maki site. Check it out. Okay, guys, thank you for your patience, first of all. Let us get into what's actually up for lunch, for at least those of you who are in the US. And this is Cap Money. So Cap Money is live for how many hours now, guys?
3
hours.
Before, yeah.
How are you concluding the experience so far? What has Cap been up to the past few hours?
answering messages.
Stop messages. It's
The thing
it's
about
interesting.
our team
Yeah.
is like we have so many people that have been in DeFi for years. I mean, since before DeFi started. So our friends are, the founders of every other DeFi protocol, and so everybody's kind of pretty excited about the launch. I don't think there's any major DeFi protocol that we're not working with. So it's very nice to get such a nice reception from people.
Definitely. What about some TVL rather than messages? I'm sure you guys have worked some of that in advance.
Yeah, I mean, the big whales are coming around Wednesday, but right now we're saving all the points for retail, right? We want like the public to be able to get the best points. And so yeah, it's been 3 hours. We've got 6 mil of TVL coming in, so it's quite nice. And yeah, we'll keep it coming.
Incredible. What do you mean points when you say points? Can you elaborate a bit, Benjamin?
Yeah, so we're
Like a
doing a
points
points
program?
program. Yeah, we're doing a points program, which we're calling in caps. And what's cool about it is that it's not only for the regular reasons you might want to farm a points program. We're also identifying the top caps holder for special perks and events. So there's gonna be, secret events for cap holders, caps holders, and then special swag, access to the team, etc. It's not just gonna be like a regular points program. And the earlier you get in, the better rates you get, the more caps you get. And at the moment, the only thing that's incentivized is just holding CUSD. But soon we're gonna have Epoch 2 where all of our DeFi integrations get points. Anything I missed, Dave?
Right now, you covered it all.
The DeFi advisor is busy depositing into Cap. So I can see it in his face. He's very focused.
Trying to get fast enough to send the link, but next time on the next window, I want to share. Like I've shared it before we went live, but I also want to share it now. I want to share the X link as well. And I must say, this is picking up much more quickly than usual, relatively for the hours. I see that according to Restream, we already have 328 views here. Most of them on the Leviathan News X. Guys, let's spread the word. Please take a minute, give us a comment there, add some questions. I really will be happy to see some questions from the audience. I actually think that you guys, it's all of you guys together, like you can think of better questions than I can, for sure. And it's actually very nice to like only really start getting into, because we do live stream and not, pre-recorded interviews. I actually think there's kind of a benefit in like starting the stream in like a chill way, talking about stuff, like some people join the stream, maybe a commenter. Live streams are different than pre-recorded shows, like
For sure.
Each of them present like different like opportunities, which with time you can, I think, recognize and should leverage on. Like a live stream should be a live stream. A pre-recorded interview should be a pre-recorded interview. They have different
Yeah, definitely seen a trend more towards live streams recently.
Yeah, why is that? Because you actually were someone who had like his own podcast.
I had a podcast for a long time.
Pre-recorded, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had to do that because between me and Kit, like Kit was, in Korea and I was always traveling, so it only made sense to pre-record. But definitely, I think everyone's just about streaming now and creating clips, whether you see Thread Guy or like TV, like the whatever the TBPN or whatever they're called. Like everyone's streaming now, and I definitely like see that continuing. Like people want to see things live, they want to interact live. People like short bits, so.
There's something about the fact that something is happening now. You know what I mean? Like, it's if it's more important. Like you have a video you want to see already, but then you see there's something live and you can watch it later. But something like for me personally, most of what I actually watch is live, because later, like if it was a live stream and you watch it later, it's cool, but not the same. I don't know. Never mind. But you can watch it live stream later, guys. No. Even if you're watching it not live, you can do it. Okay, so guys, let's start from the basics. Okay, and really, as I told you before we went live, try to make it as simple as possible. I really want, at least at the beginning, I want those who have no idea, even if it's like the first ever interview they're watching on DeFi because they just heard about DeFi like the other day. I want to explain them. Guys, I know that you know that you've heard about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Great job, man. What about there's this new project, Kept Money. It does what?
Yeah, well, we're a stablecoin protocol, right? And I'm pretty sure we all know stables, right? They track the price of another asset. In this case, for us, is the dollar. And it's very good at doing that because you can mint and redeem our stablecoin with other stablecoins, right? Like USDC, USDT. Eventually, we'll add money market funds like Benji, Biddle, etc. So it's supposed to be this dollar asset that's always redeemable. That's cool, but it's not that cool. What's really interesting about Cap is that we can make yield that nobody else can, right? Right now in crypto, everybody makes yield from either funding rate arbitrage, and perhaps like people leveraging Bitcoin and ETH, right? So if you're depositing it into Aave, that's how people earn yield on the dollar. That's very limited, right? There's so much you can do with the dollar, right? You have the likes of Franklin Templeton, Susquehanna, IMC, BlackRock. They make yield from thousands of different strategies outside of the blockchain. But until now, we haven't been able to tap into them because we depend on developers to make yield for stablecoins, which is insane. We should not be depending on developers to make yield. And so what Cap is doing is we're onboarding the largest institutions in finance by far, right? Like Susquehanna, IMC, these are not random institutions, and we're onboarding them to make yield for stablecoin holders. But we don't trust them because we're crypto people. We don't trust anybody. So everybody that's making yield for us is fully insured by restaking on EigenLayer and Symbiotic. And so you kind of get both of those worlds. So you get the verifiability of Ethereum application, right? With the same guarantees as Aave, right? And at the same time, you get this crazy yield that you would only have if you have really the experts of finance making the yield for you. What do you think, Dave? Did I miss anything?
No, you got it. You hit the nail on the head there. I was just thinking this on while you were talking, and actually before when DeFi Advisor was kind of giving an introduction to us. I was thinking about how like the FDIC works and how the FDIC like basically backstops all deposits in the US. And honestly, like the CAP protocol works the same way with the relationship between restakers and operators. So you
Dave,
have
can you
operators.
just before you continue, can you just explain what FDIC means?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the
for the
FDIC.
non-Americans.
Oh yes. So the FDIC was created after the Great Depression, and during the Great Depression, you had all these bank runs. People were terrified. They went to go take out all their money from the bank, and there was no money there. So the federal government created the FDIC, which was actually modeled after a program that was in the state of Massachusetts. The state of Massachusetts had their own program to basically backstop all bank deposits. And so the federal government saw this as like, we should apply this at the federal level nationally for all banks. And so the federal government created the FDIC, which is its like own federal department, like little agency within the Department of Treasury, and they insure all bank deposits up to $250,000. They will make sure if you have at least up any below $250,000 or below, your bank deposits are safe and protected in the United States for any FDIC insured bank or institution. And so that's how that works. And so with CAP, it works quite similar because you have, these operators, whether they're performing these yield strategies, they're generating yield. But in order for them to do that, they have to receive a delegation from the restakers. And so the restakers are backstopping the operators in the same way that the FDIC is backstopping these banks. And so if the operators ever were to like mess up or anything, users are always 100% protected from downside risk in the same way, which I think is pretty cool. Ben, what do you think of that comparison? That was like the first time I've thought of that.
I think it's a good comparison, right? Because sometimes people don't think about the downside. You put money into a hedge fund stable coins, you put money into, some random protocol, and you think to yourself, I'm just trusting these developers to make yield for me. What happens if they lose money? Well, you lose all your money. That's what happens. And so with CAP, it's just like Aave, right? And it's just like FDIC, we protect the downside, which is something that I think people haven't done before. I think I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Well, ask your questions, guys. Feel free to ask.
Yeah, we're just starting actually. So go ahead and ask any kind of questions. I will start popping them up soon, hopefully, because we are getting some response. There's definitely a CAP community out there already. According to Restream, getting close to 600 people watching.
Wow.
Over 500 views only on the Leviathan News X. So much respect. And I must say, this is a bigger activity on the YouTube as well. So people like you guys. People like.
I'd like to give another comparison about CAP, and this is one of the first. When I joined CAP, and I was thinking like, how do I? What's the best way to explain it? What's the best way to really conceive of it? Because it's not really like that obvious. And I remember for our first video, Ben, I thought of the whole Uber Airbnb comparison. So, what I like to say is Uber has no cars, but yet it's the biggest taxi company in the world. Airbnb has no houses, yet it's the biggest hotel company in the world. But meanwhile, with CAP, we may not generate our yields ourselves internally, yet we're going to be one of the biggest yield stablecoins, and that's all because of the power of markets. What Airbnb and what Uber does is they outsource it to basically market dynamics. They allow the market to decide the price, and they outsource it that way. We do the same thing, but instead of cars and hotels, we just do it with yield generation. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there.
Amazing. DeFi Dave is the explaining machine.
Yeah, it's the metaphor.
The metaphor, yeah. I think in metaphors, yeah. That's
metaphor Dave. Metaphor Dave.
Yeah,
metaphor Dave. I like this.
Metaphor, yeah. Lore.
By the way, I told them earlier when he popped up on the link, even before you joined, Benjamin, I told Dave that he was today he's dressed as DeFi Dave again.
I'm DeFi Dave today.
I've seen him on X as TradFi Dave recently.
Oh yeah, I saw a question come in that's actually pretty interesting. They're asking what the points ratio is. So you're, yeah.
Let's put it up and read it for those who are just listening. Question by Dave Mary on X. Thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate the question. What's cap point ratio? One cap point to one CUSD. CUSD, by the way, is the native stablecoin, correct? Like the native dollar stablecoin. If you guys can elaborate on that as well, for sure.
Yeah, so you basically have to choose either do you want yield or you want points, right? If you want yield, you go to state CUSD. If you want points, you go to CUSD. And it's basically per day, we give you points based on how many CUSD you have. And it's a fixed rate per CUSD. And I think right now it's 20, so it's 20 points or 20 caps per CUSD per day. And obviously you can do the math of how much that is per hour, etc. And that will decay over time. So you want to be as early as possible because then you get the best rate. And then something that's important to know is that this should be for people that are going to stay the whole time. If you want to stay for a little bit and then go, this is not the program for you, because at the end of the program, we're going to see who left early. And if you left early, you're not going to like what you get. So it's important that if you're going to join this, you join for the long haul.
So basically, you're saying that at least how long is this? Like, is it announced? How long is this gonna go?
Points? So we gave the people the worst case scenario, like worst case scenario. 5 months is the maximum that this program can last. But we may end it sooner if we reach certain KPIs, right? You've seen this with certain like stable coins. They'll say like we'll do this program, but then if we reach certain TVL before, we'll TG before. So I mean, we're giving you the worst case scenario only.
Nice. So 5 months tops, you say,
yeah.
And if I understood correctly, you're basically telling people, guys, go all in. Like if you want to play the game, actually play the game till the end. Don't half play it because you won't really feel like it was worth your while necessarily. Like
exactly.
Go for it if you really want. Like if you do want these caps, just be patient.
The reason why I'm wearing a cap today.
Exactly.
Caps on.
Caps on as always. Like with you guys, I believe that you're entering a long period, hopefully, of caps on for the rest of your life.
I think this could be very interesting. I mean, it's not often that you get a new primitive in DeFi, and it's certainly not often that you get a new primitive in stablecoins, right? Now, most stablecoins are the same thing, right? They're either T-bill wrappers or T-bill wrappers as a service, and then you get a couple of like hedge fund stablecoins. None of that is new. Everything like this we've had for many years in DeFi, and it has the same risks and issues that it's always had. And so I think as a DeFi nerd myself, it's cool to see something completely new, and something that sticks true to the values of Ethereum, right? Completely automated, market-based, transparent. No need to trust the team. That's the kind of stuff I think people like.
Can you elaborate a bit on like what exactly makes it so unique? Like if you have to again like try to express it in the most simplified way, but just like you say, like for most people they will just say, it's a stablecoin project, okay. But like what are the few things they need to know in order to feel okay, this stablecoin project is different? Because just like you said, like these days, stablecoins is probably the most fascinating topic for me, and I think many of in our audience, like within DeFi, I think it's a huge catalyst for DeFi, for Ethereum. Like the stablecoins are huge, but again, like these days, it's not like 2020 or 2021. We don't have like 4 stablecoins. We have a lot of stablecoins. We know like certain families, just like you said, there are centralized stable coins or decentralized or semi-decentralized stable coins, at least depends on how you look at it. But what are the like few things that someone should know about CAP and that are supposed to make him think and realize, okay, this stablecoin project is different?
Yeah, I would say that it's safety, right?
Like
I said before, all the stable coins that you see today that earn yield, it's just a glorified hedge fund. They're not really Ethereum applications. You're just putting your money in a smart contract, and centralized teams in the Bahamas or Cayman Islands are taking your money and running a hedge fund, right? Cap functions just like Ethereum, right? If you want to run a validator on Ethereum, do you ask Vitalik for permission? No, right? There are just rules that you have to engage with in order to be a validator on Ethereum, and it's the same with Cap, right? Everything is set in stone. Everything's on the smart contract level. There's no need for you to trust us. We can disappear tomorrow and this works, and that's the standard that we hold blockchains at, but we don't really hold applications at that standard. And so if you ask me, what makes Cap different, it's that it runs on its own. It's its own like protocol that doesn't rely you trusting developers. And so if you care about protecting your principal, if you care about not losing your money when there's a black swan event, this is a stablecoin for you.
Protocols over people. To sum that up.
Yeah, protocols over people. No DAOs, no committee that votes on putting your money somewhere. No off exchange custodians. This is just a smart contract platform that does not require you to trust human beings, and I think that's revolutionary.
Interesting, because I don't think I expected you to say that safety is what makes it most unique. I thought that you would say that it's the way the yield.
Well, the yield is
that's
cool.
The other way.
Which I actually wanted to ask about, but actually let's touch, because you say that actually what you feel is the most unique aspect about it is safety. Then I actually want to follow through on this topic as well. I've heard some people argue that this is actually risky. They say this involves like off-chain and on-chain activity, which I think many of us in DeFi, at least in the early C DeFi era, like if there's one sector that I think doesn't get a lot of trust, especially not naturally, is everything that like combines the two. Like I personally, I also had like Wolf indexed from Redstone DeFi a few weeks ago, and we talked about his RWA report. It really is written an incredible report. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check his report. Really like a PhD work or whatever. And we were talking a lot about the fact that but there's a lot of criticism in the industry about all this kind of TradFi money coming in. But also, like that's the only opportunity to grow as an actual industry. We can't be on an isolated pool forever. And like the only way to make the isolated pool bigger is that like waves of people losing trust in the older system or the intersections is just really joining our bubble. But there's no like direct way that all of a sudden everything becomes decentralized. And to be honest, even if there is a way, it's probably a horrible way, which we don't, which we probably won't be very satisfied with. Okay, so I actually think it's a decades-long process, and it will involve a lot of these, intersections of these elements together. But usually, this is actually perceived as a risk. So maybe you can elaborate on why you actually think that this is not the case.
Yeah, we don't trust people, right? We're DeFi natives. We don't trust anybody, right? That's why we don't rely on the team to make yield. That's why we don't have a trading team in house. We're not running operators. Yes, the yield is coming from sources that crypto has never seen before, right? Huge HFT firms and trading firms that have never used DeFi before are now making yield for a stablecoin. But we don't have to trust them because it's just like Aave. It doesn't matter what you're doing with the money. If every loan that is coming out of Cap is over collateralized with ETH and Bitcoin, you don't care. If they don't repay, you can always slash. You can always liquidate the collateral to replenish the loan. And so even though these strategies are happening off chain, we never trusted them to begin with. And so if you don't trust somebody to begin with, then they can't cause harm to your protocol.
Anything you want to add there, Dave?
Yeah. But the first thing that Sven said, safety. When I was thinking about, we've all been in DeFi for a while, and I think you kind of see this evolution in the development of stablecoins from experimentation to now a full-scale adoption. And before, when it was experimentation, when things were when decentralization was the main focus, you had a lot of depegs and blowups. And I think with Cap, the main thing we're trying to do is how can we balance the ethos of Ethereum, like what makes Ethereum great with creating crypto economic protocols with the needs of the real world and the needs of the world outside of DeFi. And I think what has done is have that marriage of that quite smoothly and brilliantly. All of the stakeholders in our system, whether they're the HFT firms or market makers or restakers, they all opt in by their own volition. It's their choice of coming into the CAP protocol. And in order for them to access the capital within the CAP protocol, they have to abide by certain rules, just like in Ethereum, just like into Bitcoin. And I think that's what makes CAP truly special. And that's why I like to call CAP the Ethereum of stablecoins.
Nice way to put it. Okay, guys. So where is the yield coming from? What is this new opportunity? How come that again on the yield side you guys see it as different? And maybe if you can add, like, how guaranteed is it?
Yeah. So it's fully guaranteed. If you trust Aave, if you trust Morpho, then you trust that we're guaranteed because it's the same mechanism. It's over collateralized lending, right? Now, where does the yield come from? It comes from 1,000 different strategies, right? It can be from the funding rate arbitrage. It can be from lending to a protocol like Aave. It can come from market making on Binance, or more likely, it will be from stuff outside of the blockchain altogether, right? If you want to have the best yield for the dollar at any given time, you're going to have 1,000 strategies, 10,000 strategies, right? And there's no way one team can ever do those. So we rely on an entire market of operators. If you go to our website right now, there's a tab called operators and you see all the institutions we've onboarded. All of these guys are going to be competing with each other for access to our capital and generate yield for our users. And they're all very different. You will see we have HFT firms.
Maybe you can show it on screen, Benjamin. Can you maybe pull it up and show us as you explain?
That's a good idea. Here, let me share my screen.
And guys, appreciate all your questions, by the way. Almost 900 views so far. Respect CAP community. And guys, I will get to your questions soon. I want to ask first some kind of some stuff and let the guys share like the basic stuff. And then I promise that as much as these guys have time, we will get to questions. And I really appreciate you guys sharing them. We'll get to them in a bit. But I think as usual, we all want to know where the yield is coming from. So let me just enable your screen there, Benjamin.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the CAP UI. Here you can see all of the people that we've onboarded. And as you see, we have publicly
What's the address, by the way, of the website? What's the address?
It's up here. It's cap.app. So pretty simple website.
Yeah, that's a great domain.
It's not a bad domain, right? Also hints at future developments. So yeah, cap.app. And so you can see we're not here, because we're not generating yield. We have many publicly listed companies here. We have hedge funds like Fasanara, Portofino, vault managers like Gauntlet, RE7, Susquehanna, IMC. These are huge firms, right? Above 200, 300 billion in AUM. They're not your average market maker, right? Edge Capital, the largest TVL provider into the
and Benjamin, apologize for my probably pretty dumb questions, but like why again are these guys gonna be interested in putting the yield up? Why do they want to do it?
Yeah, let me tell you. So they're not interested because they like us. Okay, they like us.
Yeah,
but
I can imagine
why they're here.
Although I'm sure anyone would like you. But,
I hope so, right? But at the end of the day, things work in CAP ecosystem because the economics are set up for them to have an incentive, right? These folks, Amber Group, Rockaway, etc., they can get unsecured credit, so they don't have to put any collateral. They just borrow, stable coins, and they go generate yield. But there's another group of people called the restakers, right? The restakers on Aguilar and Symbiotic, they're in the business of trusting operators to do tasks in exchange for a fee. And these restakers underwrite the risk of these tasks, right? We don't have to convince them to do that. That's just the business model of Eigenlayer and Symbiotic, is people underwriting the task of other people, and they're trusting them to do it. And so, yeah, why do they do it? Because they get unsecured credit at a good fees.
Yeah, it's not of the kindness of their hearts. You said.
No. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it. Why does somebody validate on Ethereum, right? Because there are incentives, right? You get the transaction fees. And so yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to see if I'm starting to maybe understand at least the direction. So basically, you're using this already existing interest that they have in what EigenLayer and Symbiotic is offering, and you're kind of creating a new market out of it.
Yeah, well, not these. So these guys, some of them have never used DeFi before, have never borrowed from DeFi before. We onboarded them.
Yeah.
Now, the people that were already here are these folks, the restakers. So EtherFi, Kelp, Renzo, MEV Capital. These are very important players in EigenLayer and Symbiotic. And the business model is for them to trust operators to do things in exchange for a fee. And so they already have ample PMF. I think there's 25-30 billion dollars in restate capital, and we're poised to be by far the best yield opportunity for that restate capital. So these guys were already there. That's kind of like the marketplace we're inheriting.
Anything else you want to show on screen? Like now, maybe what can someone do right now if they go on what's available already for users, and feel free to present like this from an aspect of every kind of user, like for the simple user, for maybe some entity that resembles these guys. Or
whoops, I lost. Let me.
You can just reshare it, and I will.
Yeah, perfect.
As Benjamin is doing it, I will give a shout out to everyone. Getting close to 1,000 views, guys. Much respect.
1,000. We'd love to see it.
877
people are excited about
only on the Leviathan News X already, it seems. And really, especially for recently, that's quite a lot for us. I will use this opportunity just for a second before I share your screen, sir, to give another shout out to our sponsors, both at AIOZ from last week and Maki NFT. Guys, use this QR code over here that I just popped on the screen to go to do the Maki NFT sale. Let me know if it works, by the way, and if not, we should fix it. But putting it up there for you, and thank Maki and Alice and AIOZ for all the bids, and for Alice for the incredible bid from Friday. Really was such a fun one. Benjamin, you have that ready already?
Yeah,
I guess
I'm all ready.
Okay, just a second. I'm getting to it. Okay, we have.
I will highlight a couple of things here. So first of all, the yield updates every day. So it might seem low, but it's much higher than this. As we scale, the APR will kind of update more concisely. So it may look low, but it's actually not the actual yield at the moment. So using the protocol is actually super simple, right? You just choose the input address, output token, and you mint how much you want. We charge a very small fee, and that's because we price the asset every time it's being used to mint CUSD to make sure that, let's say USDC depegs, well, we don't want to be giving you one CUSD for one USDC if that happens. So it's all dynamic. So we charge a small fee to make sure that any deviations in the Oracle price are accounted for. So that's very, very simple. You can mint it. You only get points for CUSD. You don't get points for stake CUSD. But if you have stake CUSD, you get yield. And then everything else, that's all you do on the platform. We really abstract away all activity for the end user. All you need to do is mint it, and then you can use it in DeFi, like Pendle, Morpho, etc.
What do you actually need in order to mint CUSD? Like which tokens should you come with in order to mint it?
At the beginning, it's just USDC, but eventually we're going to keep adding tokens to the stablecoin network. So, some that are coming up are USDT, PYUSD, Benji, Biddled. Even we're working with Wisdom Trees money market fund. The idea is that we have all these different assets in the pool, so that our operators can generate yield on top of them. Yeah, what's also interesting is that you'll be able to swap between them. So if we have Benji and Biddle, now you can swap between them on a reserve. And so that would be actually the only place where you can swap these permissioned assets on chain. Obviously, if you want to use Benji, you got to be a Franklin Templeton user. If you want to use Biddle, you have to be a BlackRock user. But then if you're like you and me, and just using your USDC, you can do that already without KYC. So yeah, and then here you can see the assets right now. It's just USDC. If you're a restaker or somebody with ETH and Bitcoin, you can delegate this to anybody you want. So you can delegate it to market makers, to DeFi protocols, to whoever you think can generate yield. And once you delegate to them on Symbiotic or EigenLayer, they can come here and they can borrow. And so you see, I'm not a whitelisted operator, so I can't borrow. But people that receive delegations on those platforms can. And so then all of that yield goes to StakeCUSD. Nothing centralized about it. Everything's automatic. So if somebody's making yield, it automatically goes to StakeCUSD. We don't have any say over, what happens in between.
This is actually nice. And I like the design actually.
Our guys did such a great job with the UX, especially like the whole experience of it. Just so smooth, just going and swapping in for CUSD. Yeah, shout out to the Beefy Boys, shout out to Kexley, shout out to Mr. T, Tilty, and of course, last but not least, Wesso leading the ship. We truly do have like an A+ team. I like to call us the DeFi Avengers. Like we've all been here for a long time. Like I've been in crypto for 8 years, started QDAO back in 2021. And the Beefy guys have been around since, the DeFi summer days. So, we're here taking all our experience, all our knowledge, all our successes, all our lessons to build this stablecoin. And this was built from first principles. Ben, I remember when you first presented this to me back in August when we were talking about it, I was like, oh, there's really something here. And then when you asked me to join, like it was just, kind of like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, 100%. And, the people that built this protocol, the Beefy Finance team, we're talking about the folks that built Beefy Finance from nothing, no funding, no token allo to the team, anything. And they grew it from 0 TVL to 1.5 billion in TVL, 500,000 monthly active users. They're by far the most used on-chain yield product, more than any other protocol. And they did it with zero funding, right? They've been live for multiple years, no security, incidents, etc. There are 20 plus chains. These are probably like some of the best, if not the best, DeFi developers in crypto, and they built our code. So it's hard. I mean, I don't think anybody else could have built it because this is a new type of stablecoin. It's a very difficult code base to build, especially on new protocols like Symbiotic and EigenLayer. So yeah, it really took experts to build this. I'm sorry, I have to shield the devs, right? These guys.
I mean, I just saw the camaraderie. I mean, when we were all on con together for ETC, I mean, the camaraderie was just so apparent. And you just you don't usually see that with new teams because it takes like some time for people to get to know each other. But no, these guys have been working together for years. You can see like why they've been so successful and like why Cap has been so smooth. So it's been a pleasure working with them, and I'm humbled to contribute in my own little way to their success. Like they're shipping, and I'm trying to do my best to amplify. Being on here, being on other media outlets, spreading the word on Twitter and LinkedIn and beyond, and wherever else there needs to be it. And yeah,
they ship so we can yap.
Curve Cap. Hey,
yeah. I see we have the OG himself visiting with a cap of his own. What are you really surprised? Shout out.
No.
Yeah.
How are you?
Cap's on for Cap.
That's what I'm saying.
I had to wear my cap for the big Cap day.
What's up?
Nice to see you, man. All these DeFi OGs in one stream. What's going on?
No, just wanted to hear how the launch was going. So I saw the stream was going live and decided.
Yeah, I remember.
You,
you were my first media appearance for Cap, and I joined I think it was probably a few weeks into it. I was doing my best, to conceptualize the protocol at that point. But man, it was 8 months ago. Time really flies.
I know you're still here. You haven't rugged people, which
they only launched today.
8 months, 8 years.
Yeah, give us time. Give us time, Curve Cap. You never know.
I'm curious. When you guys were launching, you were part of the Mega ETH Mafia, and I understand you're still doing a lot on Mega ETH, but then you're moving to the stablecoin, I believe, to the Ethereum layer. Is that correct?
Exactly. So the thing is, we are first and foremost an ADS on Eigenlayer and symbiotic. And so we need to be on the same chain where we're slashing or not slashing. Because if you try to do this stuff cross chain, you're going to get hacked, right? One of the main things about Cap is we don't trust anything or anyone. And so by being on Ethereum, we can ensure the security. But then Mega allows us to have a consumer layer, right? So we're working with the Mega Mafia on Mega ETH to have a lot of day one use cases there so that folks can use COC there. We were the first Mega ETH application, right? The first Mega Mafia project. So obviously we plan to work with them. I think some people might think, man, you're a Mega Mafia project. How come you're not launching on Mega ETH? Well, the challenge from the Mega ETH team was make the best application that you can in whichever way you can. And so for us, if we wanted to build the best yield-bearing stablecoin ever, it had to be on Ethereum, and they respected that. And we've planned for that since the beginning.
So is this basically a nod to the fact that like Ethereum is the home of stablecoins?
Ethereum is the only stablecoin network. That's the only stablecoin network we ever needed, and it's the best stablecoin network. That's why all the money's there. Because the market doesn't care about your tokens. The market doesn't care about your projects. It only cares about safety. And that's why most of the stablecoin supply is on Ethereum. If an L2 was safer, then most of the liquidity would be on L2. If Solana was safer, most of the liquidity would be there. But money is not dumb, and that's why it's on Ethereum. You couldn't access. We're already getting some questions. Dave Merle was asking about
questions, guys.
We published we published an article with all our security audits and our full code repo released.
It's also all the docs.
It's on the docs too.
App. Yeah.
Yeah, we literally have a tab just for audits themselves. So if you go to docs.cap.app, you'll find it on the left side. No suit. I guess he's asking about TradFi Dave. It's DeFi Dave today.
DeFi Dave today. TradFi Dave another day. We gotta keep it.
TradFi. I'm TradFi.
This one is from Alice, by the way. This one is from Alice. By the way, this is a question from CurveCap from earlier. And he plans to become part of the Open Stable Index. If you've heard about it, maybe CurveCap, you can share a few words about it if you already.
No, I haven't heard about it. Could you tell us more?
Absolutely. So the Open Stablecoin Index is a DTF, which is Reserve Protocol's answer to the ETF. ETFs, of course, just like an index of stocks that update automatically. A DTF is a decentralized token folio. That's the on-chain equivalent where you can have baskets of cryptos in there. The Open Stablecoin Index is currently tracking 10 decentralized stablecoin protocols, everything from Curve, Aave, Sky Protocol. Reserve Protocol itself is in the basket. It's about to cross 1 million TVL, and they on a quarterly basis rebalance to update with like the newest stablecoin protocols that apply to be part of the basket. So I think that the Cap Money stablecoin would be a perfect stablecoin to add. Rather, the Cap governance token would be perfect to add to the basket.
Yeah, I would love to work with you guys on that. And obviously, we have points program for our partners. Right now, it's Morpho, Euler, and a couple of others that will announce. Pendle, obviously. All thanks to our Oracle providers, Chainlink and Redstone. But yeah, we're looking to add others. So I think Open Stable Index could be a good one.
Nice, shout out.
I see people are asking us for some alpha.
We'll get to it in a second. I want to go over the earlier ones, even maybe this one earlier. I don't think we've covered this one. Dave again. Dave Mary, shout out. Thank you for the questions, friend. When STC USD goes live and I land, do I get cap points for staking and holding?
Yeah, so Stake USD is already live. You can already stake it to earn yield. And it's for the lending. So we do have points for lenders. And when you're a lender, you're lending stable coins like CUSD, like USDC, like USDS, etc., on Morpho and other applications, and we give you points for lending, that towards stake CUSD. If you're leveraging stake CUSD, we're not giving you points, but you're getting a great deal, man. You're getting yield plus the leverage, right? So it's amazing. The people we're giving points are the folks that are lending to those, and so that's going to be live as soon as we have Morpho and Euler up. And so I think Chainlink is done, I think tomorrow or Wednesday. So whenever that's ready, that oracle, we're gonna go live on Morpho and Euler, and you'll be able to start, either leveraging if you want to do that, or farming by lending to it. One strategy that I really like is you can get points for holding CUSD, and then you can get even more points if you lend that CUSD on Morpho, right? And so there are many ways to stack it, right? You could also go on Pendle and stack it.
Thanks for the great answer. Let's move to this one from earlier from Wigwam. Do you have an ETA of when the first operator AVS will turn an active strategy on? Will we hit the ground running?
Yeah, so all of the operators that you see on the UI right now are folks that we onboarded, and so they have legal agreements with restakers to operate. We're turning things on one at a time. So I think within the next 24 hours, restakers are going to start delegating to operators, and it takes 3 to 6 days for those delegations to show up, right? Because there's like a delay when they delegate. So this weekend, you're going to start seeing the first operators borrow. And it's a mix, right? We have very large market makers like Amber Group to hedge funds like Portofino. They're all going to be borrowing this weekend. So keep a lookout for that. And we'll probably announce it because, it's a big deal also for the restakers. Because one big thing is that, we're a stablecoin, but we're almost as much a yield protocol for ETH and Bitcoin as we are for the dollar. And so if you're in the restaking world, we're about to double, even triple what APR these restakers are getting. Right now, restakers on average make 0.1, 0.06% APR. We're giving 1 to 2% APR on the restaked amount. So it's a huge difference from what has happened before.
Nice. Let's move to this one from a Catalyst. Can you tease what's coming up for the Epoch 2 of Frontier program?
Yeah, so Epoch 1 is super simple, just mint CUSD and hold it. But on Epoch 2, all of the DeFi integrations are going to start earning points. So we're lucky that we're going to have Pendle from day one. So in the next couple hours, we'll be on Pendle. Morpho, Euler, all these ones, because we have a Chainlink Oracle from the beginning. But that's at the start, it's just use it to test it out. In 2 weeks' time, that's when you're going to be able to start getting points for using those platforms. But you could already use Pendle, right? Like you can go on Pendle and already buy YTs for CUSD, and you get kind of like the buy-in price for those. But in a little bit of time, we'll start incentivizing deposits there as well.
Shout out to Wigwam, who said he's been restaking for 2 years and is ready. This is something I love to say that the PMF for restaking is yield, and we're really the first case of that coming live. And I've been here for 8 months, and every day me and Baron's just like, oh, can't wait till we're live, And now we're live. We're about to show what we've been working on for all this time and what we're about. And like Ben said, like one step at a time. Like all our operators are ready. Just waiting to get the delegations and for all the time locks to happen, and then we see this thing go, and we see the flywheel start going there. No pun intended.
Shout out Wigwam indeed. Thank you for sharing. Dave had some other question for us. Great job, Dave. Great job. Any plans to integrate CUSD into other protocols for more use cases? Can shed light on use cases?
Such as Curve, hint.
Obviously, yeah, we're working hard to get on all of our favorite protocols. we're not going crazy and trying to get on 100 protocols. We're really focusing on the ones we like the most and we think are going to have the biggest impact. I mentioned a couple of them already. Obviously, Curve, right? We're going to be on Curve. Obviously, Balancer are two favorite swaps. We're going to be sure to be there. I think it's not going to be too long before you see a CRV USD dash cap CUSD pool.
Any thoughts on that, Cap?
No, it's great to hear. Like definitely ping us as you do, because like there's been a lot of advances in the Curve pool technology. So I'm sure that we can help to make sure that like you're using the latest and greatest and all the parameters are tuned. Curious to know just like about your bootstrapping strategy. Like you mentioned Curve and Balancer. How do you think about it in terms of like basically getting incentives and getting people to deposit money in the pool?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, for us, both Dave and I have been in stablecoins for a while, and we know how much of a pain it is to peg stablecoins. And so for Cap is fully redeemable. You can redeem it for USDC at any given time. And so we don't need DEX liquidity at all, right? We can totally be redeemable at any given time. And so that's wonderful for maintaining peg. However, we will have some sort of liquidity on dexes for other reasons, right? Sometimes utilization could be high, and so you need like instant redemptions. And then additionally, once we have many collateral assets, some of them will be permissioned, and so being able to liquidate will depend on having liquidity for those assets as well. But not at the beginning. I mean, we need to incentivize that much. Even with a small pool, we'll be more than fine.
Yeah, the magic you're able to do in terms of getting your Qidao stablecoin repegged after a depegged, you obviously know your way around stablecoins.
Man, we pulled all of the levers for that one. It's not easy. It's not easy. That's why I think, long term synthetic assets just are hard to deal with, right? If you cannot redeem your stablecoin for US dollars 100%, at some size you're gonna have issues. I've talked to a lot of banks and HFT firms as part of bootstrapping Cap, and all of them tell me they don't want to use these seller stable coins that are not 100% backed by US dollars. You're backed by ETH, if you're backed by anything that's not just USD, they don't want anything to do with it. And same with like the Genius Act, right? Like if you're pushing out stable coins that are not fully backed by dollars, you're gonna have issues with American institutions.
Incredible. Guys, what have we missed so far? Like what have we not touched on yet that is a must for those learning about Cap right now?
What are we thinking, Dave?
Just another reminder for anybody that wants to participate in the CAPS Frontier program, which is our points program which we named after the Ethereum Frontier program. When they launched, they called it Frontier. As an ode to Ethereum, we called all ours Frontier as well. You can just go ahead, go to cap.app/swap, swap your USDC into CUSD, and CUSD is to earn caps or points. But if you just want the yield, you can go into STCUSD for yield. So CUSD equals caps, STCUSD equals yield.
Great job.
Just your way in.
I'd be curious to know because obviously you raised money from the who's who of Wall Street. You're based in Wall Street. You occasionally go TradFi Dave, put on the stoop.
Yeah,
Williamsburg.
It's
the
okay,
L train.
Dave.
You're an L
Just,
train
like,
away from Wall
box us
Street.
in front of like all of crypto. That's totally fine.
Well, what's your exact address and what's your walking schedule? You know, when you go out?
Right. 2,000 people.
No,
I think we
like,
all love to
you're-
be somewhere else, but being in TradFi, you have to be in New York, right?
Oh, no doubt about it. You're in a short L train away from like getting into Manhattan and getting to talk with all these suits who are coming and buying our bags. Like, what's the sentiment amongst the Wall Street types you talk to about crypto now? The Genius Act passing,
I
etc.
feel like it's an intense curiosity. Now that it's gotten, the stamp of approval from the federal government that it's now accepted by the establishment and the status quo. Now everyone's like, oh wow, like what is this like new exciting technology? and like how can we use this to for our bottom line and for our business. So me and Benjamin have been in conversations with these Wall Street types. They're going deep. It's not the institutions that are here. They've been here, but now it's just out in the open.
100%, and they're super excited. I think these guys are not dumb, right? Like if you look at any given job in TradFi, there's probably 100 to 100 times more people applying for that job than their crypto equivalent. So these people are very sharp, and they understand it. Like when we sat down to talk to Franklin Templeton, who's our lead, they got it in like 5 minutes. These guys are not stupid, and so it's been amazing to meet with these HFTs, with these banks, these asset insurers, because we're partnering with all of them. Right? Either they're going to be operators or they're going to give us, the money market funds to be collateral for a stablecoin. But we're working with everybody. I think we may be the stablecoin that onboards the most institutions because we have a role for everybody to play in our system.
How is that actually, guys? Like, I mean, what's it like? All of a sudden, like you guys are like you come from the DeFi native side of things, like not necessarily having to ever even do a video call at the early ages. I can imagine for both of you actually, and all of a sudden, it's quite a metamorphosis. Like for you guys as I don't know, businessmen, as entrepreneurs. Founders, however you refer to yourself. What's it like all of a sudden starting to have these kinds of different conversations, seeing this new stage the industry is heading into, leading into in a way? What's the experience like? How are you taking it? And also, how are you able to create these connections? This is not like, online, especially in crypto Twitter and stuff like that. I don't know, you just reply to someone and they answer you back or follow you, or you send them a message and all of a sudden a connection is created. It's not necessarily the case with TradFi folks. Like, I don't know how to reach Franklin Templeton other than reply on their X posts or whatever. So I'm curious, first of all, how did you guys do it? And also, what's it like for you? Like, are you enjoying it? I'm pretty sure you are, but like, what can you share about this experience?
It's amazing, right? This is what we all talked about for so many years, that DeFi would be adopted by TradFi, that DeFi is actually the future of finance. I mean, it was a meme, but it's true now. It's actually happening. So it's great because all of us have been working towards this for many years. Now, how do we get in contact with these folks? Well, it's a mixture of things, right? First of all, a lot of the OG DeFi founders are invested in us, like the founders of Curve, Layer Zero, Synthetic, Spark, etc., Balancer, right? And so having all that industry buy-in signals to the TradFi folks, hey, these guys know what they're doing. And we've been in the space long enough to show that we're not scammers. We're people that genuinely care about crypto and about DeFi values. And so that also helps a lot. And so with all that in place, and the fact that TradFi is trying to connect with crypto, it's not that difficult to get connections, right? It's just everybody's one degree of connection away. And then once we talk to these folks, it's pretty simple for them, right? When we talk to Susquehanna, when we talk to IMC, Portofino, all these folks, again, they're not dumb. And so they understand CAP immediately and they think, okay, this is really cool. This could actually have a meaningful impact in TradFi. And I really think so. Aside from being a cool dollar product in DeFi, this will be how folks get credit off-chain, how institutions, even private equity, private credit, etc., we can really fuel an economy outside of the blockchain.
Dave, any thoughts of your own?
I think once again, Vent has hit the nail on the head about everything. It's really exciting to see this come live, and like I said, the institutions are coming to us, and something I've been being the drama on is institutions love CAP. You look at our table of both investors and stakeholders / users in the system, whether it's IMC, Susquehanna Crypto, Flow Traders. They love us because they see the opportunity that we offer them with our protocol. And I truly do believe this is the next evolution of stablecoins. We are elevating stablecoins as a field, especially at this time, right after the Genius Act passed. Like all these payment stablecoins, they're going to be looking for yield, and they're going to be looking for infrastructure like CAP. And something in the CAP docs that I got to give a shout out to Jay, Stanford educated head of research. He wrote all our docs, and he did a beautiful job explaining everything. And one of the things he wrote in it is it's this idea of the singleness of money. You're gonna have all these, different stable coins out there. Hell, Ben, you did that talk a while ago at DevCon about like there's gonna be thousands of stable coins. Well, needs to be like one layer that aggregates them all. And I truly believe that CAP's gonna be that layer. We have all the right pieces aligning together for it, whether it's the tech, whether it's our partners. And now that we're live, this is a big step, but it's the first step along our journey. And there's no doubt that we're going to take over. So.
Seeing it start and having you guys on day one to talk about it here at Leviathan News, it's quite an honor.
Honestly. We wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Man, Kev, did you see the beginning of the video, what they said about Leviathan News? I don't know if you've watched it from the first minute or so, but you have to watch it later. We have to clip what the guys said here at Leviathan News, and we really appreciate it. And I actually think that, I think our audience appreciates it a lot. Both the timing, because really, when something is new and it's happening now, just like a live stream, that's exactly the time you want to do a live stream about it and share it. And honestly, at least for me, it's been a while since I've had a stream that has gotten so many views, getting close to a total of 1,400 people views right now. Been a while since I had.
It's basically all of the DeFi users.
Yeah, just like you said, many builders, many people are curious about what's coming. I think you guys have a very positive reputation.
Thank you.
We could easily 5x that if everyone just takes a second to retweet this and get this in front of your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunt, your uncle. Come on, people.
Anyone.
Is your grandmother not watching this? I know my grandmother's watching this. So
Actually, I do believe that. I do believe that your grandmother's watching this.
My grandmother knows everything about CAP. You can't explain it to your
Seriously
grandma.
Now?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Man,
they know even about multi-chain. They're very well aware of.
You should open her account ASAP, if that's the case, like Grandma Cap, and
They all have beefy finance accounts. So I look forward for them to have.
I actually wanted to ask that as well. If you guys have a few more minutes to share, how was the connection with the beefy guys created? How did that?
Well, look at it like this,
happen, because you two specifically, and I guess it was back in the day when it was just still just you, Benjamin, with Caps. Like you come from Chi-DAO originally in DeFi, maybe some other projects that I'm not aware of project. But how was your connection with beefy finance created? And just like you said earlier, what exactly has drawn you to work with?
Yeah, so we've built in so many chains. What are the most cross-chain applications in DeFi? It's Chi-DAO, Beefy, and Frax. The first cross-chain DeFi first cross-chain stablecoin was MAI, right? The stablecoin. The first cross-chain yield aggregator was Beefy, right? So every chain we would go on, we would partner with Beefy, we would partner with Frax on some, DEX, AMM, lending markets, etc. And so eventually we kind of all knew each other and we trust each other. If you think about, the Beefy guys, they're probably the best DeFi developers in the world, right? They did everything that no other yield market could do, and all without any funding. So when I thought, okay, I need some devs to help me to make this actually real, I couldn't think of anybody else, right? That was like the dream scenario. And luckily, we have a very good relationship from all these years working together, that they were, happy to join and work with me on this. Same with DeFi Dave. I think there's few people in DeFi that, have this lower building potential as Dave, and have been in DeFi and stablecoins for so long. This is quite literally the DeFi Avengers, as Dave might put it.
I think you did a brilliant brilliant choices there, I guess.
And also, Ben, you guys started Cheat Out with no funding either. It was like all an airdrop. So you and Beefy both like together.
It's really cool.
Yeah, just
it's really cool that now we have funding.
Yeah, unheard of.
Yeah, unheard of. Yeah, we know how to make businesses without any money. So now that we have money, let's see what
good point. Actually, it's a good point, and yeah, I think it's a sign of industry maturing. The industry is entering a new phase. I think. I think everything we've seen so far is like the prologue, you know, the prologue of the prologue. I don't know, I think we're about hopefully to really start to see what's capital flowing into crypto. I think it was kind of
yeah.
I don't think people realize what's coming. Just my assessment again, not financial advice, guys. I really don't have. Don't take any advice from me. Let's say it this way. One last thing before we wrap up, I see that Dave had another one that I wanted to show. Any plans for cap points at the end of the program, or?
We can't possibly say anything. Our lawyers would kill us. No, we're running cap points, and they're gonna be to track loyal users and community members. We're gonna have some pretty cool events and private perks for the people that have the most caps. And what happens at the end, I couldn't possibly comment on these things. Just be an active member, and that's all that matters, right?
Definitely.
And also keep watching, Leviathan, because this is where all the alpha will come from, right? So if you're subscribed to Leviathan, if you're on the Telegram group chat, the channel, the announcement channel, then you're sure not to miss anything. And not only from us, right? From everybody else in DeFi.
Respectful.
And we should disclose that you are getting paid to say that, because we do have a generous emissions program. Each month we emit our native squid token to people who help out around the ecosystem, which includes people who do live streams like this. So check out leviathannews.xyz to learn a little bit more about Squid, about all the happenings.
Definitely, and our recent votes as Squid DAO has become the decentralized entity actually governing Leviathan News and the other arms. I think we can do a lot of interesting stuff, and it's actually been really fun to witness. It's not always an easy or smooth process, but it's actually, I think, a very important process for us also as a community and a DAO to grow. And really, I think that the community's response here for this video and to CAP is quite astonishing. Again, almost 50 people viewing the stream. Much respect. Guys, one last thing that I personally want to ask before we wrap it up, and feel free again to, if you have anything else you want to mention or shout out, please do. But I'm like, what's your future in the next few months? Like, what are the most important things for you guys to emphasize, and to what's going to be your schedule for the next 100 days or few months or so? Because I can only imagine. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my god, these guys are entering such a crazy era of trying to take their business now, when it's not just okay, we're going to launch it. Now it's out. How are you going to actually implement some of these stuff that I'm sure that you've been thinking and working on for years, probably? So what's your for the next quarter or 2 quarters?
Yeah, so we're going to be heads down with this launch, making it spread far and wide and have the biggest impact they can possibly have. In terms of all our schedules, I will actually be traveling to Istanbul for ETH Istanbul, and I'll be speaking there about stablecoins and CAP. Turkey is one of the stablecoin hubs of the world, so I thought it was very important to have a presence there. Ben and Jay will be traveling to Asia. They'll be at KBW in Singapore, and then a bunch of us will be down in Argentina for Dev Connect, another stablecoin hub, of course. So we'll be busy.
Yeah, we'd love to meet you guys there. Yeah. We'll have a lot of swag, so make sure to say hi.
Nice, everyone. Nice.
And obviously, you're gonna see all the institutions, like everything we've mentioned. It's not just LARP. We will have institutions borrowing from us. We will have asset managers, help provide the collateral for our digital dollar. So these are the things you're going to see in the next 100 days. You're going to see what yield looks like when you don't rely on developers to make yield, when you rely on a marketplace of experts and regulated institutions to make yield. This is real scale. And in the next 100 days, hopefully we're going to prove that this actually works.
Gonna be interesting for sure. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Honestly, it's been a pleasure and an honor to have you learn about Cap Money, the great job that Benjamin and DeFi Dave have been doing online and at NYC. I think the guys have. I think you guys will be wearing suits for a while, guys. I think you have some suits.
Yeah. We all have suits now.
And some meetings and like drinking some espresso. Don't drink too much espresso, but don't drink too little. Probably the right approach. Curve Cap, anything you want to add, sir?
No, just super excited. Yeah, big believers. You guys have been like doing amazing stuff in DeFi. So excited to like see where it goes and hopefully help out and let us know how we can pitch in.
Amen. And hope to have you guys in a few months. So whenever you say with some updates and some stats, metrics, developments, whatever you guys will have to share. And by the way, Benjamin, big shout out to you for being one of the founders who actually uses the bot for delivering updates himself.
Yes. I don't just DM DeFi advisor.
Have built such an amazing infrastructure for the community to be able to submit headlines. That's like the bread and butter of what we do here at Leviathan News is the headline service around the clock, all over the world, no matter wherever you are. If you have an internet connection and you have any kind of like headline that you want to deliver, you can use our TG bot, and it's always great to have the teams themselves use it, just like Benjamin here often does, and much respect for it, sir. And by the way, guys, this is how you earn some squid. Like he's not just doing it because he's so kind. He knows that he's building his squid position probably.
My little bag.
But guys, really, come on. You don't need to buy.
You go to New York.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just think about it. Everywhere else. You go to New York Times, you have to pay someone usually to get in there. We're paying you to get into Leviathan. It's like win-win for everyone. Come, shills.
This is the real bribe economy. You know what I mean? Like, this
exactly. We call it the incentive alignment. Yeah. The legal would like.
You're right. We should practice this kind of stuff if we want to go the TradFi way at some point. We should get used to this.
Well, they find out we pay your reply guys too.
Okay, guys.
Oh, really?
Go follow Cap. What's the X account there? Cap_money.
Cap money underscore. Yeah, it's so hard to get X accounts nowadays.
Cap money underscore. Go to cap.app. What a great address. And check out the new choose between points or yields. Feel free to watch the episode and share it with anyone who wants to know about whatever they can about Cap's money. Thank you for everyone who tuning in. Over 1,500 views. Haven't had a stream like that personally for a while, so shout out to you guys and thank you for the timing of coming. And one last shout out before we wrap it up to our QR code winners, both from last week that I wanted to already mention twice, but I didn't get to do two streams last week. So AIOZ Network, we've been such incredible supporters of the QR pass and the auctions. Really hope to have you guys bidding again in the future, and thank you for the incredible support in so many of the past few weeks. And the new sponsor taken by Alice in the incredible stream from Friday with Curve Cap. I definitely recommend it. It was the greatest auction ever, and the winner, Alice, did it for Maki NFT, an artist presenting a new collection. Let me just pop it up again on the screen before we wrap it up. I want to show you Maki's website. So she has a new hand-painted collection of her previous NFT collection called Mad Doll from, I think, last year, and she's having a special sale over there. You can check it out at sites.google.com, view Maki site Mad Doll 66. I also shared it in the description on YouTube, and I will share it again. It will be on our pinned post on our Telegram and X. And thank you so much, Alice, for the generous bid. And okay, guys, thank you so much for coming. Was an honor and a pleasure. And see you soon. Keep us updated and keep the caps on, as they say.
Caps on. Caps
but also,
on.
let the TVL flow in. No caps on that side, I hope.
No cap. Thank you so much,
100%.
guys.